Hello everybody, my name is Paige Cassidy, otherwise known as the Yogi Paige, and I thought I would actually hop on here and give you my experience of 10 days of silence Vipassana sitting. So first things first, I just want to give you a little bit of an explanation of why I thought to go do 10 days of silence. I'm a really busy body, I do have ADHD, and I just think, the older that I'm getting, the more and more I realize I just need to work with the brain that I have because it's a beautiful brain. So I was in a space in my work where I kept moving, I kept demonstrating, and I kept hurting my right hip over and over again. So my thought process behind going 10 days of silence was, if I don't go, I will never sit still. So it took me about 5 years to actually take in, my cousin in Cape Town actually planted the seed, and he said, yeah, he went on this 10 days of silence, I should definitely go. And it took me 5 years after that. I did travel to Myanmar, I was with the Buddhist monks there, and again, there was another Vipassana sitting there, 10 days of silence, it would have been in Burmese, but the seed just kept getting planted, and eventually 2 years ago, I went and did 10 days of silence. Probably one of the most challenging things I've ever done, and often my family would say, oh no, that's absolutely crazy what you're doing. Or the response would always be, you, Paige, you going for 10 days of silence, you're going to keep quiet. And the hardest part of 10 days of silence was not, for me, remember everything's personal to everybody, but for me it wasn't that I was silent, it was more that I heard my own voice in my head constantly. And it is so challenging to hear your own voice. I mean, often people will say, oh, I love hearing my voice. My God, 10 days of just hearing your own voice is intense. Cool, so I went, and I also had no expectation in my head. I arrived there. I am also one of those people that don't get nervous. I get nervous just the day before, or when I had to go on stage when I used to do ballet. So as I arrived in Cape Town, I went to go and do it in Worcester. I was like, oh my God, what are you doing? What are you doing? Anyways, and then they announce, or they ring the gong, so they obviously have everyone together at first, explain what's going on. And I think it was at 5 o'clock they rang this gong kind of thing, and that was when Noble Silence started. So for me, what was really amazing about the experience, there is so many things, that's why I had to do this in parts. But one, I'm going to go with the ones that are on top of my head, and then we can go a little bit deeper into it. But what was really, really amazing for me is because of the silence, one of the best experiences was eating breakfast with people in silence and enjoying people's energy and company. It was really, really beautiful. I enjoyed that also because the scenery was absolutely amazing. We also had a game farm next door to us, and you could hear the lions roaring early in the morning. You could sometimes see the elephants. So because I wasn't talking, I felt like I was just so much more connected to my hearing, to my senses, so I could actually hear birds flapping past me and maybe really appreciating it. Another thing I really appreciate about the nature was they were the most magnificent ants that were rolling these huge, 10 times bigger than their bodies, going, and they were absolutely everywhere. So that was quite a beautiful thing for me to experience, was you take away all these distractions and then you come back to the core of everything, which is Mother Nature, guys. We come back to, it's so important to be outside, it's so important to listen, and it's so important to observe. Okay, so let's get to the nitty gritty part, for me at least. You sit 12 hours a day. You obviously have a break in between, but you are sitting and meditating 12 hours a day. It sounds absolutely insane, and it is. It is. So when I went there, I thought that my hip was going to give me such issues because, again, guys, self-inflicted. I've hurt my hip. I wasn't listening to my body. That's also why I went to to a 10 days of silence, because I was like, I need to learn to listen, to slow down. So I thought my hip was going to cramp up the most. So the first 3 days, you're pretty much sitting and getting comfortable and understanding what you need to do and how to kind of do the process. And then after that, then you really start to go deep into it because you create an understanding. My back, I've never felt pain like that in my back, that eventually, I'm not even lying, I was sitting like this. Please excuse what I'm wearing, I'm definitely in my stokies. Eventually I was sitting like this, crossing my arms and dropping my chin down and falling asleep like that because it was so intense, the pain. And if I am an A-type personality, give me a challenge, I want to do it. There's just no ways. I'll never accept a challenge. So the pain was excruciating. And what I learned about pain is life can be painful. There's moments in life that are really like heart destroying, and it changes a person, whether it's for the better or the worse, whatever that means in your brain. But life is painful, and fuck, life can be awful sometimes. But no matter what, so through the process, and it goes so much deeper, guys. You scan from the top of your head to the tips of the toes, so your back is in so much pain, but you got to keep scanning, and you can't focus on your pain. And I think that was one of the most beautiful realizations in my own life, is that pain is there, and you can't numb it. You can, we can, but the more you numb it, the more you run away from it, that pain's going to keep coming there. So acknowledge it. I hear you. I'm not denying you. And guys, I obviously don't mean like a physical pain. Physical pain comes in the body because it wants to teach us a lesson. And I'm only just learning this. I'm only 30 years old. I'm still learning a lot about life. I'm really learning how to listen to my body, how to slow down. And it's been such a wonderful and challenging journey at the same time. But sitting through that pain, I created the understanding that life is fucking painful. But that body's got you. You've got you. And it's never forever, a bad experience in your life isn't forever. And when I'm talking about a bad experience, I can go back to when I was in active addiction. It was a painful experience. It was heartbreaking, and it's a very challenging space to come out of. But life is painful, but it's not forever. You've got to deeply believe that. And another thing I also realized, this brain is busy. Another thing I realized is pain is also there to teach you lessons, whatever path you choose because of that lesson, but it's there to teach you. And that's why I say we can't keep running away from it, or can't keep being like, I'm so happy, I'm gonna step out of the door for the rest of my life, because fuck, that is not the way life works. I have weeks and months where I feel like I'm just like, ugh. So it taught me that also the good part of life is not forever, and you've got to ride those waves no matter how you're feeling. You've got to feel it, you've got to observe it, and you've got to appreciate it. So that was quite a big lesson. Very, very challenging, because I'm one of those people that when I'm upset and I'm miserable, God, I'm miserable. Another beautiful lesson that I learned from 10 Days of Silence is I used to really worry about social media and like the following I had, my views and all of that. I'm also really, really hard on myself. I want to be better always. And, social media can make you think you're not doing your best, you're not looking your best. And anyways, I got into my head about it. I really did. And I went for 10 days of silence. And afterwards, there was just this crazy shift that I almost didn't actually expect, that I just didn't give a fuck. I was just like, what are you doing? Why are you comparing yourself? Why are you constantly looking at this and you should be this and this? Is your life, are you happy? That was one of the best questions my dad's ever asked, but it was a question that kept coming up in the sitting. Are you happy? Yes. Then what the fuck are you doing? Why are we constantly comparing ourselves to people? Because it will drive you crazy. It'll make you sad. It'll make you dislike yourself. So that was a really, really powerful shift that came. And from a woman who, I had a ballet career and I had crazy body dysmorphia, and I just came out of it and blossomed, and all of a sudden I was talking to my body with absolute love. And now when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm just like, God, this body's beautiful. So that was a really, really powerful shift, just because of my own past and what I experienced with body dysmorphia. So very, very grateful, very, very grateful. Then there's so much that happened, but I want to just brush on it. And when I think about more of the things, then I'll come back to it. But because one of my best qualities about myself is humor, and one of my worst qualities as well is humor, 10 days of silence was hectic. I promise you guys, by day 6, I was like, I am going straight to hospital because I need someone to go and check my brain out. And more so because it was crazy, the experience of learning how often our brain revs us up. So when things are bad, the brain will be like, oh, that's bad. And you keep going into that space, and you're creating this loop that just is the same loop over and over again. And that is what happened at 10 Days of Silence. Day 6, I was like, I'm phoning my cousin, I'm breaking out of here, because they take your phone, you're not allowed to write, you're not allowed to do yoga, you're not allowed to read. And I was really, really strict about the rules again, guys. I am a rule goer. I love a rule, love a schedule. So anyways, day 6, I was like, I'm breaking out of here. Also, it was my dad's birthday during that time. I went during December. And guys, my dad left when I was 9. When I say he left, he went and worked overseas. You know, he was providing for his family. And I mean, we've never really spent birthdays together and that. But all of a sudden, my brain was trying, I don't know what my brain was trying to do. It was a strange place. All of a sudden, I was just deeply sad about missing my dad's birthday. And then all of a sudden I was crying. And in my head, I was like, what are you doing? You know, we've done this for a long, long time. Cool, so the brain's distracting me there. It's like, The craziest part of the 10 days of silence, again, is learning how often the brain loves to distract you. It loves to. Anyways, I had the craziest sexual dreams. When I say like sexual dreams, not necessarily with myself, just like the one sexual dream was there was this woman lying on the floor and like everyone was like circling around her and I was there, and anyway, she was asking me to do things to her and like bizarre fucking weird shit. There was another one where I was in like this abandoned house, and then anyways, I kept looking around and everyone was giving each other blowjobs, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then this kid came to me and he's like, this is why we all fucked up. And I was like, what? So waking up from that, you know, like you know, you can wake up from a dream and just be like, oh my word, was that real? That was one of the craziest things. And because you're obviously not allowed to talk, there is facilitators you're able to go and talk to. I felt like I didn't need to. The idea is that you must process things, feel things, understand things. So going through that was so intense, because honestly, guys, I thought I was a psycho. I was like, there's something wrong with me. And there again, the brain's like, there's something wrong with me. The brain is a crazy place. But on the 10th day at 10 a.m., we broke silence and I got to speak with everyone. I met a girl through the group there, and I'd never met her before. She lived in Cape Town, so she picked me up from the airport. We met for the first time and we really just got along so well. But she was the first person I went to and they said, you're not allowed to hug people. And I was just like, I just need a hug. I was like, I just need a hug, please. I just need a hug. And then I phoned my boyfriend and I was like, I don't know if I should laugh or cry, or I don't know what I should do. Anyways, so I'm going to come back to that story now about the 10th day, 10 a.m. Also, another crazy thing that happened in my brain is I kept thinking I was going to rock up at, my boyfriend and I didn't live together at the time, but I was going to rock up at his house now, the one I'm living in, and I was going to find him in bed with another chick. I mean, like, that's why I say, guys, the brain is a crazy place, and it just made me so conscious of like behaviors I have in my brain. So anyways, I hugged this girl after that. Oh, something on me. I hugged her and I was just crying because it was just so nice. And then when I got to speak to everyone had crazy dreams and everyone had these just crazy ideas. Like the one lady thought her kids, she was like, my kids are dead, she needs to go. And the facilitator was like, no, this is the brain. So what a beautiful experience to realize that it's not about having a chaotic brain, guys. It's about creating space between your thoughts, because the brain is busy and busy is beautiful. But it's about understanding your brain better and loving your brain for what it is. So, you know, all challenging lessons, and 10 days of silence is not for sissies. You can go do 3 days, so don't stress. There's also 40 days, which is mind-blowing. I mean, I don't know if I'd come out normal again. But anyways, that was my experience, and I'm so very grateful. I can't wait to go in the next one. I am looking to go maybe in December again. That will be my second sitting. So if I can influence anyone to do anything, is challenge your brain. As much as I love challenging my body, I'm a fitness fanatic. Challenge your brain, man. It's more important.